Trump supporters could not have listened to President Trump's speech at the White House and then been incited by him to walk to and attack the Capitol. And then, of course, there's Lindsey Graham.
President Trump never said, go into the Capitol and try to interrupt a joint session of Congress. That was the choice they make. Where was Nancy Pelosi? It's her job to provide Capitol security.
So how can Lindsey Graham top his own record of sycophancy? I mean, we kept in the part about Nancy Pelosi just because even for Lindsey Graham, this blame absolving and shifting is a new level of pathetic. Just a reminder, here is what Trump actually said at that rally.
So we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue. And we're going to the Capitol, but we're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country. So let's walk down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Kind of pride and boldness you need to take back your country. So walk down Pennsylvania to the Capitol. Now, of course, to allow Green and Graham to make this about, just one particular speech Trump said would be wrong, because we all know what Trump said to his followers for months. And a new video released by the New Yorker and ProPublica. The truth is there for everyone to hear. Trump lit the fire of these rioters, and he did it for months. I want to warn you that the language you are about to hear is explicit.
To protect our Constitution.
To protect the Constitution of the United States!
That's treason. That's treason.
Antifa. You're afraid of Antifa? Well, guess what? America showed up!
Looking out at all the amazing patriots here today.
You guys are fucking patriots.
We got to get Nancy Pelosi the hell out of there.
Can I speak to Pelosi? Yeah, we're coming, bitch!
Mike Pence, I will tell you right now, I'm not hearing good stories.
Mike Pence is a fucking traitor.
America first agenda.
Make no mistake, this election was stolen from you.
But if the election's being stolen, what is it going to take?
These people didn't just echo what President Trump had been saying from his bully pulpit for months. They also admitted on camera that they were there at Trump's request. The crowd telling officers inside the Capitol that they were listening to Trump. Texas realtor Jenna Ryan, take her, and you can see her there inside the Capitol. She's now been charged with disorderly conduct. Her defense?
We were going in solidarity with President Trump. President Trump requested that we be in D.C. on the 6th. So this was our way of going and stopping this deal.
His request. And the Washington Post reporting a Kentucky man told the FBI that he and his cousins stormed the U.S. Capitol because, quote, President Trump said to do so. Well, President Trump did say to go there. Hundreds of his supporters there on the Mall did what they were asked, storming the Capitol. And so here we are tonight with a fortified Capitol, Washington, D.C., a military zone ahead of an inauguration. And there is only one person ultimately responsible for this. We all know who it is. Caitlin Collins is out front near the White House. Caitlin, what is Trump's mindset in these final hours of his presidency?
Well, Aaron, people that we've spoken with have said the president is in a pretty foul mood and has been for several days. We haven't actually seen him since last Tuesday when he went to Texas to visit the border wall, because other than that, he has stayed behind closed doors. We know that privately, he's been having several meetings on pardons. Of course, that's expected to be one of the president's final acts. But other than that, he has not said anything publicly. We haven't gotten any kind of farewell message from the president talking about his accomplishments despite efforts by aides to get him to actually do one, similar to what you saw the First Lady put on Twitter today. But we are expecting to hear from the president on Wednesday. We know that's going to be his departure ceremony when he leaves the White House before Joe Biden is actually sworn in so he can take that final flight on Air Force One. And that's supposed to be a major military-style send-off at Joint Base Andrews, Aaron. We have been told that they are expecting several They're inviting a lot of guests. The White House hasn't specified how many, but there is a new concern that there won't be that many people there, or certainly not to the president's expectation, because of course, not only are there these travel restrictions in Washington where it's pretty hard to get around the nation's capital right now, but also the president is still dealing with the fallout from his response to that attack on the U.S. Capitol. So we've heard from several people who say they do not want to go, even though they got an invitation from the White House. And then, of course, there are people that you would not expect to get an invitation that have also gotten one, including Anthony Scaramucci, the president's former communications director, who, of course, now has become a major Trump critic. He somehow was included on that list. So it remains to be seen what that's actually going to look like on Wednesday. Of course, the president is expecting them to roll out the red carpet. But, Aaron, first, we are expecting that list of pardons to come out tomorrow, according to the White House so far, and it should include about 100 people on it. That will include some of the president's political allies.
All right, thank you very much. The mooch is a wedding crasher there, I guess. It does say a lot, though, that he would make the list. I'm sure he finds that humorous on some level. All right, out front now, Lawrence Tribe, one of the nation's preeminent constitutional law experts. He has been advising the House Democrats on impeachment. He's also the author of To End a Presidency, The Power of Impeachment. So, Professor, you hear Lindsey Graham's defense of the president. Oh, Trump actually never said to go to the Capitol and disrupt a joint session of Congress. Probably, never said whatever else, break 2 windows and stop by the bathroom on your way, or, whatever excuse he's going to give. It's absurd, of course. Any honest person knows the instigator of all this, right? The person who said the election was rigged and stolen and fraudulent, that he won it by a landslide. The person who said people needed to take their country back and stop the steal. The question is, in the Senate trial, will Graham's argument hold any weight, Professor?
I don't think so. I think that all the senators, and indeed all Americans, watched the president incite an angry mob, basically aimed them straight at the Capitol, lit the fuse, and watched in glee while people died and while an angry mob threatened to hang the vice president, came within seconds of doing it. This was insurrection on steroids. This was not just some kind of speech. Lindsey Graham just is not going to persuade anyone. So I think the only question is going to be, will they convince people that the Senate just shouldn't hold a trial because Trump managed to commit his most severe impeachable offense very close to his presidency. And I don't think that will wash either.
So Trump did not go to the Capitol, as you mentioned, right? Even though he said he was going to do it. But the reality of it is, of course, he wasn't physically there. Does his First Amendment right to freedom of speech, which I would imagine is, we're talking about the President of the United States here, right, with a bully pulpit, but the free speech right, does it protect him at all here?
Not at all. I don't know many people who are stronger First Amendment advocates than I am. But even if my life depended on it, I couldn't persuade myself that he was exercising the freedom of speech. It's ludicrous. There is no free speech defense to someone who doesn't just yell fire in a crowded theater, to use the old metaphor, but sets fire to a crowded theater and watches while it burns. That's what this guy did. This wasn't just speech. And anyway, the freedom of speech belongs to citizens. It doesn't belong to the person who is at the head of government.
So can Trump be prosecuted criminally for what happened at the Capitol, separate from a Senate trial?
I think so. I mean, there are various statutes. I've found 4 or 5 that he has almost certainly violated, but I'm not going to jump ahead of Merrick Garland. He and the Justice Department will investigate systematically. And if he has committed sedition, if he has conspired to commit insurrection, I think he will, certainly should be prosecuted. But the issue now is not what happens after he is out there as a private citizen in Mar-a-Lago or wherever he is. The issue is protecting the nation from him by disqualifying him from ever again running for office. That is the fundamental power that the Senate needs to exercise if it can convict him, and I think it should be able to.
Right. Of course, they need 2/3 to convict and then a simple majority to bar from future office. I mentioned pardons, Professor, at the top of the show. The president's expected to issue about 100 of them tomorrow and commutations. It's actually not as many as some of his predecessors. President Obama had 330 individuals on the day before he left office, most commutations, low-level drug offenders, so obviously that was very different. Clinton, though, issued many controversial pardons, including one to his half-brother, Roger, and the unforgettably terrible pardon of Mark Rich. Are Trump's pardons different?
Very different. The issue isn't the quantity, but we've never had a pardon palooza like this in terms of basically a marketplace for pardons. Looks like Giuliani, who can't collect his legal fees from Trump, is going to try to